Hello, 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 everybody. This is Irina Strunina, and this is our weekly podcast, Diabetically Speaking with Smart Move 360. This is the place where we meet every week at 4 p.m. Eastern Time with my guests, who are healthcare professionals, who are helping people to work and win over their diagnosis, who are sharing their expertise, their ideas, their suggestions, their quick suggestions that could help people start implementing right away without going to the store and buying something or having a training or anything like that. So, diabetes type 2 very often is a result of combination of different events in your life, or maybe the result of the life of your upbringing. So anything could happen. So today I have a special guest, and if you are following our YouTube channel, Smart Move 360, you probably already saw the recording with her that we had earlier, and the we were talking about the warriors, and Luisa shared her story there. So if you want to know the her story in depth, you got to find that recording. But today, that experience that she had transformed her into the healthcare professional, the person who is passionate to help people. But I will not tell her story again by myself. I'll ask Lisa to tell us about her. So,
Sure.
welcome to the show, Lisa. Welcome back to the show.
Thank,
Please
thank
tell
you.
us again the reasons why you are doing what you are doing.
Yes, I'll make it very short because I would love to have them go and watch that entire interview. But in a synopsis, I was surrounded by diabetes most of my life. When I was 15, my father was diagnosed as a type 2 diabetic, and he went straight to insulin. He has since passed away from complications from this dreadful disease. As well, when I got married, my father in law was a diabetic, and he also has passed away from this disease. As well, I am married to a man who became a diabetic about 5 years into our marriage. I was pregnant with my first child, and the doctor informed us not only was I pregnant, but my husband was diabetic, type 2. And I watched as my husband's intake of pills went from 2 to 4 to 8 to 18.
Pills.
And that is actually my father in law was taking about the same amount of pills at the end of life, and my father was at about 20. Both my father and father in law passed away on kidney dialysis, a brutal procedure to begin with. Um, so you can say that, wow, Luisa was surrounded by diabetes. And then I got it. I was diagnosed. And I did not heed the warnings because I had two pregnancies that were both gestational diabetic. And when you have gestational, after delivery of the baby, it goes away. And you think the danger goes with it, you see? So even though my doctor kept saying, Luisa, not only were you you've become pre-diabetic, you were gestational, the signs are there. But like most people, when not faced with a very scary or there was no pain associated, and there really isn't, right? Irina, there's no pain with diabetes, a little bit of discomfort, maybe some thirst, maybe some excess urination, but there's nothing that really makes you run to the doctor and say, I'm feeling bad. The only way to find out if you're a type 2 diabetic is the lab test when you go in, if you go in for a yearly checkup, and the doctor says, let's do some lab work. And then all of a sudden, you're sitting in a doctor's office, and the doctor's saying, you're pre diabetic or you're diabetic. And it's like, where did that come from? So many people, Irina, do not have any symptoms till you're told by a doctor that you are diabetic. So that's my story. I became passionate because I struggled. I struggled with taking the meds. I struggled with getting my head wrapped around, oh my God, I'm going to go the way of my father and father in law. I'm going to die young. I'm going to be on dialysis. I'm going to get my leg amputated. I'm going to lose my eyesight. All these things overwhelmed me. And the person I am Once I decide on a path forward, because I finally took this disease seriously, then I had to become an expert. I read everything I could get my hands on, medical journals, doctors, watching YouTube channels, educating myself. So I went from ignorance to becoming an expert. And that's in a nutshell.
Absolutely. And look at you now, you have your diagnosis
Yeah.
at bay. You really don't have to worry about it, and you know what to do and how to make sure that you staying on the healthy side, right? You
Yeah.
have a understanding of people who were diagnosed and
Yeah.
what they emotionally or
Yeah.
physically or I don't know, organizationally could go through. So you can work with
Yeah.
people and help them to find their path, right? Is it, do I understand correctly what you're
Oh,
doing?
yes. Well, because, you can go to, you can go to a practitioner who may have studied the disease and really has never experienced it themselves, never had anybody in the family, perhaps. And, and they're there sincerely to help you. They've learned all of the practicality of this disease, but sometimes, and they see so many people that you're not getting the time from them that they could spend with you. You're not getting the compassion. You're not getting the anxiety, all of the things that go on inside a person when they're faced with the reality that they have a very, very dangerous disease. But and we don't take it seriously. Many of us don't. And to go further, I've lost 150 pounds. When you hear that, I can't even think about the fact that I lost like 150 pounds as a whole person. I
Yes,
was quite obese. And it's not true, though, by the way. Not all diabetics are obese. My father and
yes,
father-in-law were not overweight. But I was challenged with obesity, an arthritic hip that I needed surgery, but I was too obese for the surgery. When you go in for surgery, you need to be in a position where you can recuperate. All that extra weight on my body would not have helped me, recover well. I'm
hmm,
going to tell people who are struggling with weight out there, first of all, you are at higher risk of getting diabetes. Number two, every pound on your frame is putting times three pressure on your joints. So
yes,
when I weighed 325 pounds times three, that's 975 pounds of pressure on your knees, your hips. And so, anybody who's listening that's walking funny, that's leaned over because they can't even get upright, that's how I walked, Adina. I walked like bent over. I couldn't even stand straight. That's a lot of pressure. And also, the obesity or the extra weight is making many of us um, insulin resistant.
yes,
And so I give hope to people because they see my before picture and then they see my after. They're like, she walked in my shoes.
yes,
And it's true. There's something to be said about a person who made every excuse, because I know every single one, came up with all these barriers. I would be like, no, I'm not, I can't do it. And so I'm able to help lift people up because I walked the same path. I resisted everything in the same way. And when you have someone holding your hand all the way through, there's a comfort there because, many of my clients say, I feel so safe with you because you know exactly how I'm feeling, and that is what I bring to the table. Plus my immense knowledge. The fact that I think I've memorized the carb content of probably almost every food out there. I'm like a walking encyclopedia. You ask me, how many carbs in a banana? 28, right? I just, I immersed myself fully in learning everything I needed to know.
absolutely. And this is what I am always saying. Uh, People hear it often from me. The information is one of the keys on fighting whatever challenge you face. You
Yep.
got to be informed about your problem, and this way you are able to work with that. You know, my father, it's funny. now I
Mm,
just thought about it, that my
yeah.
father always use the phrase, you have to know your enemy to be successful in taking over it. And
Yeah.
he would be studying whatever the history of war. He would be studying his professional. He was a chemical engineer. He would be studying the administrative problems that people sometimes face in their professions. And obviously, when you have the diagnosis, and diabetes is a very complicated
It sure
diagnosis,
is. Yeah.
it affects the entire body. This is the reason I name my company Smart Move 360. You
Yeah.
really have to look 360 degrees around to be
Hmm.
successful in your tasks. That's
Yeah.
why information about the more information you have about diabetes, the better armed you are. The you know when you can pull out of your head the explanation of something that is happening, the make the right choice when there is a selection of choices, um, act
Hmm.
accordingly to, because you know that if I go this path, this will happen. If I go this path, this may happen. If I go that path, that may happen. Information is the key. Of course, we have much more than that to add to be
Of
successful,
course.
but this is
Yes.
one of the things that you definitely got a good grip on.
Well, it is true that you have to educate yourself because many people just think, oh, I have a disease now. What medication should I take?
Hmm.
Right? And that was my attitude, to be honest, when my doctor finally told me after 8 years of warning me and me not, in one ear out the other. And she said, I've been trying to tell you, you didn't change the way you eat, so I have to give you a prescription. And
Hmm.
I just thought, okay, as long as I get to eat what I want, I don't care, right? Because there's also that part of it. There's willful ignorance. I don't want to know. I just want to know that I can still enjoy my life. But for how long?
And
How
is it
long?
the real joy? Is this the real joy?
Yes.
We have
Yeah.
so many stories about
Mhm.
people when they finally got their numbers under control,
Yep.
they
Yep.
structured their lifestyle in a way that supports it. They
Yep.
lost a lot of weight, they gained a lot of mobility, and
They
they
did.
are saying how happy they are because they like
Yep.
how they look, they
Yep.
like what they can wear. They like
Yep.
that they could go to dancing party and be
Yeah.
with the dancers and
Yes.
enjoy that instead of watching them and thinking this is not for me. And
Yep.
not only that, go to your uh, children or grandchildren's uh, games or performances at school and be able to enjoy this time, not suffer. This is
Yep.
so many things involved, and being on
Yeah.
top of it is much better place to be.
Well, I'm sure the listeners and those that are watching the interview can certainly, I guess, understand that, there's one thing where you're just sort of like going through life and you're just thinking, this is my life. And it's almost like a giving up. And I
Hmm.
was there, trust me. I just thought, okay, I watched as my father and father-in-law progressed in this disease. That's going to be my path. I'm going to be sitting there sick. I just take my medication. There's, but then there was a part of me saying, no, I want more.
Yes.
And that's what drove me. And most of the people I work with, you have to have a strong why. I have people with me because they want to be alive to see their grandchild born and get that grandchild to know their grandparent and
Yes.
not have a grandparent who died young. I have people coming to me saying, I will not let this disease defeat me. I'm too young to have leg amputated or eyesight, vision, etc. But if you just become complacent and just sort of say, oh, I have a disease now and I'm just going to take the pills and Oh, as long as I get to eat what I want. Listen, I went through a whole phase in my children's life where I just sat there eating, and the kids would be like, Mommy, Mommy, come and play. I didn't even have the energy to go play with them.
Mm-hmm.
I was always slumped over,
Yeah.
like always past, like as soon as I finished eating, it was like, nap time, little snooze. And then wake up and say to my husband, what do you want to have for dessert? Some coconut cream pie, some apple pie with ice cream. There was absolutely no desire to play with our children, to engage with them. We were in this haze.
Both of you.
Or, yeah, both of us, or even those that think, oh, I'll just take an extra shot. That'll take care of it. No, that's not the way it works. I'll just
Absolutely.
take an extra pill. My father was notorious for doing that, and his father too. They would tell us, I know what I'm doing. I know. I take extra pill. It's like, no, that's not how it works. And yet many people do this, right? But there has to be, for anybody listening, I'm going to say, don't wait until it's too late.
Yes.
Because
Absolutely.
there comes a time, there is a lot of time for people who have this disease to actually reverse it, to send it into remission. But as the years go by and this insidious disease is doing all kinds of things to your body, it's like a drip of water, right? Drip. And you think, oh, I should get that faucet fixed. And you never do. But that money, by the end of the year, an extra $1,000 has dripped out of your bank account, right? Whereas if you had paid a plumber $200, he comes and fixes it. That slow drip is doing a lot of damage to your body.
Yes.
So I would say don't wait, because had I waited, what if I became 400 pounds? I was continuing to gain weight at a rapid pace. And even for those that are not overweight, the body is still doing, it's a lot of damage that this disease is
Well,
doing,
you see, here is
right?
you said you were gaining weight in a rapid
Yeah, yeah,
speed, right? But then
yeah.
there are some people who actually losing weight
Lose.
and
That's
they
right.
could not gain
Yeah.
extra half a pound because their
Nope.
disease
Yeah.
is taking over. So
Yep.
either
Yep.
way, your weight is moving and
Yeah.
you not being active in your in management of this. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's not going be easy to take control over it.
It's not easy, but a diabetic needs to accept that they have a disease. But
Yes.
because we don't, it's the acceptance. Because how many people do you know that say, I feel fine.
Mhm.
I just take this pill. I'm good. I can eat what I want. Many people think that the pill still gives them license to eat enormous quantities of the certain foods that are impacting your blood sugars, right? They just say, I'm good. And I've seen so many diabetics in my circle of friends, family who say, oh, I'll have an yeah, I know I'm full, but I'll have an extra slice of that cake. And it's like, do you know what that's doing to you? But they don't feel it.
Yes.
You really don't. It's the worst disease in many respects because there is no pain till the end. Till the end.
Absolutely. Yes, I agree with you. And this is
Right?
what I was observing in my family with my husband.
Yeah.
There is no pain like that. When you have some other diagnosis, say you have asthma, right? And you do
Mhm.
something that you should not do, the
Yeah.
asthma attack is scary.
Yes.
When you
Yes.
have allergy to something, the
Hmm.
allergy attack is scary. But
Hmm.
with diabetes or heart attack or these kind of things happen
Yeah.
and it's scary and it happens fast. With
Yeah.
diabetes, it's
Yeah.
crawling slowly,
Yeah.
unnoticed, building
Yeah.
up, dip,
Yeah.
really affecting everything around. So
Yes.
everything else, like kidney and nerves and eyes and heart, are getting damaged as well, but also in a slow speed. So you
Hmm.
really
Yeah. Yeah.
need to take care of it, make a decision that you are going to prevent
Yes.
yourself from the pain
Right.
that may come with other diagnoses, not with diabetes.
Yeah. Well, and I'm glad you brought up the allergy because I want to tie it. I think that this will impact some people. But if I told you in the audience that you're allergic to seafood or peanuts, would
Mm-hmm.
you ever eat those foods again? Absolutely not. Everybody would, oh, because they know the danger, right? The EpiPen, the fear of sudden death.
Mm-hmm.
So when I will tell someone that, you know, that food you're eating, what if I told you that you were allergic to it? Because it's making your blood sugar, every time you eat that food, your blood sugar is going, blue. Would you still eat it? That's what I want people to listen to. Because there isn't an immediate reaction, you don't go into anaphylactic shock, right? People don't feel it. So they're like, but I do tell people some of the foods you're eating, treat it like the allergy that it kind of is, because that particular food is playing havoc with your blood sugars.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, yesterday my husband made a mistake. He picked up a can of soda, did not check it, drank it all, thinking it was Diet Coke.
Mm-hmm.
It was not.
Mm-hmm.
Diet Coke has zero carbs in it. He had 2 cans of that drink.
Oh my God.
That's, yeah, oh boy. We checked his blood. Oh my gosh. Anyway, he drank 80 grams of sugar yesterday
Yeah.
because it was a no name brand. Anyway, he got, yeah. So we were both like, oh my goodness, right? Imagine if, though, if there had been a reaction like other
Yes.
health issues, where the first sip would have brought on a, ugh! But again, what a deceptive disease, right?
Yes.
He
Yeah.
enjoyed the drink, nothing happened until we checked his blood sugars when he
If
pricked his
if we checked, you
finger.
see
Yeah,
the benefit of our members in
yeah,
our group Diabetes 101 for beginners is that all of these people become
mm,
members, started looking for information because they wanted to get information. They wanted to know more about this diagnosis. They
right.
wanted to learn if this is forever or they could overcome it and live a happy life. They wanted to know how to do that. And this is
Yeah.
why I am so happy that people like yourself, like
Hmm.
other my guests on this podcast, you coming to show people the way that they can actually be successful, get
Absolutely.
the control and good results, lose
Yeah.
weight or gain weight, depending on what their goal is. But the most uh, important thing, they know what they're doing. They
Yeah.
take risks when they take risk knowing about the consequences, and
Yep.
they prepare to take you know
Hmm.
relatively safe action if something happened. They, sometimes, as your husband, he didn't do it
Yeah.
on purpose, he did it accidentally, but
Yeah.
felt
Yeah.
it already because he already
Yeah.
knows how it feels when your blood sugar is in
He did.
uncontrolled.
Yes, he did kind of say, oh, and then I looked at the cans. I was like, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Right.
Hmm.
And so, back on track though, right? Because
And of
it
course,
would, but
yeah.
it's scary, but what, for those that are, that are beginners, and I know that most of the people you attract are people, there's so much confusion out there, Elena. There are
Exactly.
so many different, do this, do that, avoid this, avoid that. But my program makes it very simple. I have done a ton of research. I have talked to practitioners. Even my own doctor has said to me, you have taught me so much about diabetes and nutrition. She high fives me now every time because I make it very simple. First of all, I set them up with a plan, a very easy to follow plan. It's also customized to the individual
Yes.
because when I work with people, what do you like? What don't you like? We build a meal plan for them that is acceptable to them because we work on it together, right?
Hmm.
And when you're set up on a plan that is catered to you, right? That's
By
customized
you in many cases.
it and by you because I meet with the individual. I say, okay, oh, you don't eat this, let's remove that. You like this, let's put it in. And then they feel confident. And the fact is the foods that don't impact your sugar levels, you can basically eat as much as you want, you see. I
Mm.
teach people fill up with foods that aren't impacting your blood sugar.
Yes, and everybody's body is different. So what
Right.
may impact your blood sugar may not
Yes,
impact mine. So you really have
correct.
to, again,
Yeah.
inform yourself, study,
Yes.
test it,
Yep.
uh, analyze the results, all this. Yes.
Well, what I do with my clients is we work on finding a baseline, right?
Mm-hmm.
First, I strip all the foods that impact blood sugars out. That's step one,
That's we
right?
know. That we
Right.
know. Yeah.
So we get the person, and that induces a great deal of weight loss, right?
Mm-hmm.
As a matter of fact, I can actually give it to anybody who's listening. I have a 2 week meal plan that can help you drop 10 pounds, right? So that motivates people. Then what we start to do is start to say, okay, and we check the blood sugars, and I start to say, okay, what amount of carbs can your body tolerate without impacting blood sugars? Is it
Yes.
20 carbs? Is it 30? Is it 50? Is it 80? That's what I spend time with people doing is how many carbs can your body tolerate? And you're right, everybody's different. And then you start to know I can eat this many, like, everybody knows how many carbs they can eat during a meal and it won't spike your blood sugars. We then start to look at which way of eating and how many carbs will allow you to get off the medication.
Mm-hmm.
I have had time and again had success with people who call me excitedly after visiting their doctor and saying, I can't believe it. My doctor took me off metformin. OMG. I didn't think it was possible to get off the meds. It is possible.
It
It
is
is possible.
absolutely.
But you have to accept that certain foods are off the table because they will make your blood sugars go sky high. And every time that happens, you're doing damage to your body, right? So and you're right. You see, there's the other thing. When you go to see clinicians, we are all treated as one. There isn't time to customize a plan, right?
In
They
12
don't
minutes,
have
no time.
they have enough time. Okay, what's your blood sugars? Okay, we'll add another pill. Let me check your cholesterol. Oh, high cholesterol. Another pill for the cholesterol. Okay, keep going. Watch those, and out you go. Like you do. They don't have the time. There's too many of us. Just before we got on, the stats: 40% of people in North America are walking around pre-diabetic, already diabetic, haven't gone to the doctor, don't know about it, can go years without being diagnosed, right? And then so there's a high, and it all points to one thing. We as a society are eating large quantities of highly processed foods.
Yes.
I'm going to call it out. The high processed foods are the damage. The damage they're doing to us is enormous, but they're tasty, they're delicious, they're addictive,
Of course.
right? I
There's
give a talk
millions
as
of dollars were given to labs to
yeah,
develop those additives that keep us addicted to
yeah,
specific items. And this is something that,
yeah.
Luisa, I am so sorry
Oh,
because we
uh,
actually reached to the point where
oh,
we got to stop. So
oh my goodness.
I
All right.
know you have so much to share, and
I
I
do.
would like our people who is listening to be able
Yes.
to reach out to you and uh, to continue this conversation. Is
Yeah.
how they could connect with you. What is your website or something? Because right now you
Yeah.
tell it, and then when this
Mhm.
episode is online, you will be able to please go and type
Yeah.
in this website so people will be able to get in touch with you or
Yes.
website or whatever
Well,
connection.
yes. So I've put my email address, first of all. I changed my name
Okay.
right here. That's my email address, Louisa at louisamorone.com. And my website is simply my full name, louisamorone.com. That's my
Okay.
website.
This is your
But I would
website.
encourage people to email me. You can look me up. It's always the opposite. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. I'm on TikTok. I'm on YouTube. I'm everywhere, just like you are, Irina,
Mm-hmm.
because we're both doing the same thing. We're trying to educate and help people to not get to that awful point down the line. It went by so fast, the time. It just feels like we just got,
I
but
know.
there's
This is
so much, really, there's so much to say. But
absolutely.
I think to close it, it would be that people really have to take it seriously, really.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And before I completely stop this, I just
Yes.
wanted to remind everyone about some activities that we have in our Facebook group. And these are, we have every other Wednesday, the support group meetings. This is
Oh.
something that we created and conducting it already for 3 years in our Facebook group because it's easy to start, but it's
Hmm.
hard to continue.
Yes, it
And
is.
the support group is the one that it's really usually not a lot of people showing up. People who need help and who find it helpful for themselves, those are
Mm-hmm.
showing up. We have healthcare professionals joining us to answer
Mm-hmm.
questions and find some solutions for people. This is direct discussion. It's outside of Facebook, it's in a Zoom room, so nobody could, interrupt this conversation. Of course, we
Nice.
have this podcast that is going live every Thursday. And if you feel that this episode was useful for yourself, try to see maybe we have more. If you would like to learn more about Luisa, we have already one episode with her where she is talking about her story as a diabetic warrior, right? And there is one more thing that I wanted to remind people that every month we have this Diabetes 101 for Caregivers Crash Course. It's a 2 hours course where we're talking about different aspects of diabetes that is not necessarily general. It's more focused. What is A1C? What is blood sugar? Why it's important? What is insulin resistance? What fats
Mm-hmm.
are doing good and bad for us? How to read labels when you're grocery shopping? What you can have for snacks? These are the topics we are talking about with Kim Kyle, our registered dietitian, and this is something that I invite everybody to go ahead and listen again on our YouTube channel, which is called Smart Move
Mm-hmm.
360 YouTube, and look for
Mm-hmm.
playlists there for diabetically speaking with Smart Move 360, or the special edition Warriors, or the Diabetes 101 for caregivers, webinars, master classes, the ones that we posted there. Everything is over there for people to look at and educate themselves. With that, Luisa, I appreciate very much
Amazing.
you joining me today. Thank you for sharing your story, your passion.
Thank
I hope people feel inspired by you and your
you.
success and want to learn more from you. And maybe you could share
I
with
hope.
them
Yes.
some techniques that you are successfully implementing yourself and teaching people to do that.
Mhm. Well,
So,
we didn't touch on it, but it's also mindset. I work a lot on the mindset. Mindset is everything with anything we do, really.
absolutely.
How to get over the
Absolutely.
blips, how to get over the cravings. There's
Yes.
so many things that I work with. But no, thank you so much. This has been a pleasure to be back again.
Yes.
We're just scratching the surface, but that's just this disease. I could talk for hours. At home, my family members are like, okay, that's enough. Because
That
that's all I talk about.
I totally understand. I totally understand you. And let's leave people on that.
Yes,
There is
yes,
more to talk about.
yes,
Reach out, learn, see how you can help yourself.
yeah,
Everybody, please keep moving. Everybody, please
yes.
stay informed, share information with others, and I will talk with you next week.